Kirsten was a wonderful superintendent, dog. He's gone.
Good afternoon. My name is Terry Brown. I'm the superintendent for Fort Monroe National Monument. I've worked in about 12 different parks and worked in about 7 different other parks on details. And I have to say, at this point in my career, this is the best station in my career. The community, the resources, you couldn't ask for a better place to work. And I think at the end of my time, I hope that you say, when anyone asks whether or not we did a good job here, the question you should ask is whether or not we were good servants of this resource. And did we make other people good servants of this resource? That's the question you should always ask. And I view my job in that manner, is to protect these resources. It's a very important responsibility, and I thank all of you for coming out, because you could be somewhere else today. Some of you drove an hour, 2 hours to get here, so thank you so much. When I arrived in 2016, June of 2016, I was nervous, and one of the key questions I kept asking myself, how am I going to stand up a brand new park? I have 1 employee, I have no money, I have a partner that I have no relationship with. You know, I have to build that. So I started off thinking there were 4 areas that I needed to concentrate on. One was partnerships, and at this stage in my career, we now have relationships with the City of Hampton, the Fort Monroe Authority. That relationship has strengthened tremendously. The Army, NASA, and some others. And I've established agreements with all these entities. Now, that may not mean a lot to you, but it really tells the community down the road that we are here to stay and that we're all committed to the preservation part of the Park Service mission. So that's a huge thanks to all the partners in the room. I appreciate that. I just think it's amazing where we are today. The other thing is, like I said, I had 1 employee, and I still have 1 employee. But, you know, those above my head are listening. They're giving me funding for seasonal staffing. I'm hiring a community volunteer ambassador. That person's responsibility is to bring on volunteers for the National Park Service, and their role will be to work with the Fort Monroe Authority and the various partners. I've also been given money to hire what they call a Student Conservation Association student. That person will be with me for 9 months as we begin to plan for 2019. And Congress has given me the green light to hire a facility manager, a GS-12 facility manager. That's a very important role in the world of the Park Service. What you guys don't see is I play the role of superintendent, but I also play the role of interpreter, maintenance guy, FMSS, PMIS. Those are internal things, but trust me, I shouldn't be doing them as a superintendent. So when this person comes on board, he or she will make my life much easier. The third thing is education. If you want to find out where my priorities are, check my checkbook. Because youth, last year we brought on what we call the HOPE program, Hands-On Preservation Experience program. This program was so successful. We had these kids out at Building 50, they replaced the porches, and this year I'm bringing them back and they're going to work on quarters number 1. And if you're not aware, I have a team of people from Massachusetts based here at the fort. We call them HASTE, they're Historic Architecture, Conservation, and Engineering team. It's about 4 or 5 individuals, but their sole responsibility is to do conservation work on some of these historic buildings. And I can go on and on. Even quarters number 1, we just completed a historic structures report. That is critical for me to move to the next stage of repairing that building, and I'll show you some pictures of it here shortly. So preserving this special place is the last part of the puzzle. That's really my job. If I don't do that, I don't come to work tomorrow. Every day when I drive across the bridge and I look at these resources, it's a huge responsibility knowing that we have something special here. Everything from Africans arriving to Jefferson Davis to these great Endicott batteries. It's just a beautiful place. But it requires a lot of money and a lot of skill and a lot of teamwork to keep these things going. When I arrived in June of 2016, when I walked into my office, there was no air conditioning. My one range was sitting in a 90-degree room. We got that fixed. All the buildings, the HVAC systems are now replaced. The roofing has been done. We've cleaned up the piping. It's just amazing. I'll show you some pictures here. Let me see if I have some. But before I go there, obviously we have some land issues that we need to resolve. And the one piece that's still missing is we're recording. And I'm happy to say that we are in the final stretch. As you know, if we go all the way back to March 17th of 2016, the Board of Trustees donated 40+ acres of land to the National Park Service. And we took that and we put it before Congress. We sat it before the Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources and the House Committee on Natural Resources, and they gave a big thumbs up. And then by June 8th, they signed off on it and it was completed in the registry. From that point on, I've been negotiating with FMA on how do we get some of the buildings transferred over. So if you look at the bottom here, what comes with We're Recorded is the beach area, parking lot, open grass fields, and 7 buildings. 3 of the 7 are leased out currently, and we're just negotiating on how to close out the rest of them. And the final piece to this whole puzzle is the environmental inspection that needs to be done. But I just saw an email today where it's really moving fast, so I expect to sign some documents in the near future. I hate giving dates because every time I give a date, they move it 3 months down the road. So, but we're in the home stretch. I also thought I would show you some of the buildings that I'm talking about, those 7 buildings. Building 300 is out by